Outlaw Sports is brought to you by Molson Canadian, made from Canada, and Rocky Mountain Barbecue, Alberta barbecue cuisine at its best.
Well, you in a good mood, or how are you today?
I'm in a mellow mood, really good mood, like, I don't know, let's do yoga or something.
Were you smoking shit?
Just mellow.
Okay.
Just mellow. Good. That's a good thing.
You want to talk about the Stamps?
Yeah.
First of all, kind of get embarrassed again out east, and you know, boy, oh boy, you have to wonder, is this team good enough? You brought that point up. Are they good enough?
You can look at this game and you can break it down what went wrong, and you know that's what you normally do after a game. But to me, you're seeing mistakes made over and over and over again. So that tells me something. It's more systematic with what's going on. I mean, Henry Burris continually makes the same mistakes over and over. So I wonder what's going on there. I think it was you who mentioned to me a long time ago that some of the players have told you there's better team chemistry inside that locker room. I wonder if that means some fight has gone out of this team. When you say team chemistry, usually it's how I feel today, kind of mellow. Everything's good. I don't care what you say, what you do, I feel good. But if there's fight in that dressing room, Mike, don't you think there's some guys pissing other guys off? There's a little bit more in-your-face stuff, which maybe translates onto the field. So I'm wondering, because I don't see the Stamps competing as hard in some areas.
Well, Grant, I would think against Saskatchewan, if they don't, then they've got a huge, huge problem. If they don't face adversity now and come back and really put up a strong effort, then you've got problems. I mean, especially with benching of Joffrey Reynolds, Coker coming in. You know, Huffnagel's benched Tim O'Neill at times this year.
Claybrooks was benched too.
Yeah, so
Claybrooks, their so-called leader.
And see, I say maybe there's something to this. Maybe that whole dressing room thing. Maybe these guys have quit playing for Huff.
You say you're going to see how they bounce back against Saskatchewan. I've said that 3 or 4 times already this season. Now, we should say in the first half of the season, before Labor Day, they were pretty good. They're very good. Since Labor Day, though, there's one win, and even though a Hail Mary pass kind of, you know, it was okay. They won. They won the game. So something's happened to me internally in the last month or so that maybe is reflecting on the field. Because Henry Burris is throwing more balls in the ground. We were talking about this before. You thinking he's trying to be too finesse the pass.
I think there's too much. There's something going on in Henry's head. But let me throw this at you, Grant. Which quarterback in the CFL hasn't had an up and down season? Name one.
They're all.
They all have crapped the bed at one time or another. They've looked like, I mean, even Cavillo, you want him, you expect him to be the class of the league all the time and play the way Anthony plays all the time. But he's had up and down stretches. Durand in Saskatchewan looks brutal. Kevin Glenn, all smiles and everything on the sideline over the weekend. You're a 500 quarterback. You haven't set the world on fire. Who do you think you are? Lule started the season. Now he's coming on and he looks great. Ricky Ray, up and down this year, looked fantastic, looked brutal sometimes. So they've all taken turn. And in Toronto, well, they don't have a quarterback. So who the hell are you guys fooling?
I think you're right. And that's the saving grace for the Stamps.
Sure it is.
Is that you look across the league and everybody, Winnipeg, great, bad, great, bad. So you talked about this with Ian Busby, the inconsistency in the CFL. Same with the Stampeders. So maybe they're just part and parcel of what's going on in this league right now. But I think I'm a little tired of hearing the Stamps are great. They have the talent. I don't know anymore. I don't know if Rambo, Lewis, Reynolds, Burris are the stars we think they are or once were. I think they're still good players, but I don't think they put the fear of God in the defenses of other teams. I don't think they fear them as much. And I think they're a little easier to defend than before. So you put all these things together, I think the Stamps are just a pretty good football team this year, like a lot of teams.
But, Grant, it's going to be who gets hot in the last 3 weeks. That's what it's going to come down to this year. I mean, really, home field has no advantage. Every team has been streaky. So you get hot, we could be crowning the Stamps Grey Cup champs. We could be crowning Montreal.
You don't
BC.
know.
BC right now looks like to be the most dangerous team out there.
Because their defense looks pretty darn good.
Remember with this, you know, for a while there, they weren't getting any pressure, and all of a sudden, there they are, up among the leaders in sacks, and really putting a lot of pressure on quarterbacks, and making, you know, not only that, they found their thing on offense, and Bruce coming over, and it goes against Wally's grain of bringing guys in halfway through the season, right?
Maybe it just shows you that Wally Buono was adapting to the way he has to run a team. He didn't do that when he was here for a lot of years, but now he realizes that's what you have to do. The one thing with the Stamps, people are saying is their quarterback controversy.
Yeah.
Henry Burris is still the #1 quarterback. But if you say the last 3 or 4 weeks are the most important, why not now start Drew Tate? Why not against Saskatchewan and see what he can do? Send a message. I mean, to me, Joffrey Reynolds sitting out was not a big deal. The trouble was LaMarcus Coker was not used enough. If you're going to set Joffrey Reynolds out, did you see him running that play? To me, that was one of the most exciting plays next to Thigpen's missed field goal return.
Sure.
Why didn't they use him more? Yes, they gave the ball to Cornish. So to me, if you're going to sit out Reynolds, you can sit out Henry. Why not make a statement now before the real crunch time?
Well, I
hits?
think because of this, Grant. I mean, right now, I think Henry's facing a confidence thing. Really, I think right now he's confused, confidence issue. You don't want to drain your starting quarterback of if they do put Tate in there, and it's easy to come in the third and fourth quarters when you're ahead or you're behind and just throw the ball. Just throw the ball because they're going back into a prevent defense and all this kind of stuff, right? So if he comes in and he does horribly.
He was throwing better footballs.
Okay,
though.
so
he was throwing better passes, though.
Again,
Mike. That's
what pressure's on him at this point?
But
And
passes were sharper than.
still, Grant, it's all about pressure. And you start a game and you are the starting quarterback. There's pressure on you. I'm not saying it's right or wrong, but I'm just saying if you strip Henry of that and you put Tate in there right now, and then you have to come back to Henry at the end of.
Maybe you're not. Maybe you're not. Maybe you're allowing him. Maybe you're doing it to help him as opposed to piss him off.
Maybe.
But here's the one thing. When all is said and done with the Stamps, John Huffnagel after the Touchdown Atlantic said, we're not mentally tough. We don't bounce back from adversity very well. I think a big problem with the Stamps, they aren't tough enough. I think, as you know, football, they say, starts and ends on the offensive, defensive lines. If you're not winning in the trenches, I don't think their offensive line is tough enough. I think for years they've had even Rob Lazio in the last couple of days, a fierce warrior that would smash you in the mouth if things were going wrong. I don't think they've got that warrior killer instinct. And on defense, clearly that defensive line is young, it's inexperienced. They missed Tom Johnson
And
at
hurt,
nose guard.
Grant, and hurt. They've had a
Even
lot
when
of
they
injuries.
weren't hurt,
Yeah,
I don't
but-
think they have enough experience, and they're not warriors. They're not tough enough, Mike. So to me, the Stamps lose the games in the trenches, and that reflects on how Henry Burris plays and how everything else pans out.
And
I think that's the biggest problem with the Stamps now.
And what about Ben Archibald, Grant? There's pride on the line. There's a guy that should have signed. They didn't want to pay him $100,000+ to watch Henry's blind side. But those two guys on the ends are getting beat too much in the Stampeders scheme.
62, Stanley Bryant on the other side.
Yep.
I agree with you. And maybe that was that's what I'm saying. The problem is on the lines, and everything is exacerbated after that. No, I didn't say masturbated. I said exacerbated.
Can utility be a poster? Can utility keep you up at night, dreaming? Can utility put thoughts in your head? Depends on what you mean by utility. Introducing the new Porsche Cayenne and Cayenne S Hybrid. Lighter, more agile, more efficient. More Porsche than ever.